Welcome to WMLT News. I'm Marilee McAuliffe. GlaxoSmithKline has agreed to pay over $700 million in damages after pleading guilty to manufacturing and distributing bad drugs from a now-closed plant in Puerto Rico. The drugs were manufactured at the plant between 2001 and 2005 and included popular drugs such as Paxil and the skin infection ointment Bactroban. The company said in the statement that it regrets operating the plant in a manner that violated good manufacturing practices. The investigation began after an employee in the company went to the FDA to report problems at the Puerto Rico plant. The employee, Cheryl Eckerd, will receive over $90 million of the settlement money as the whistleblower. The West Virginia Bureau of Senior Services Commissioner Sandra Vannon has stepped down as the head of the agency. Under Vannon's watch, the agency saw an increase from 40,000 seniors receiving services to over 100,000. Also, under Vannon's leadership, several statewide programs were created. These programs include the Lighthouse and FAIR programs, statewide regional aging and disability resource centers, and placing a new hot-cold food delivery truck in each West Virginia county. Vannon's resignation took effect on October 15th. Governor Manchin has appointed Barbara Reynolds as acting commissioner. Carving pumpkins is a long-time Halloween tradition, but whether you're looking to cut one open, cook, or just decorate, there's a patch in Mercer County with a large harvest to choose from. Jonathan Klein has more about a place where you can get one, plus learn something while you're there.
Stumpkin's Pumpkins in Princeton is a pick-your-own pumpkin patch. Their business harvest started in 2001 by chance. The owner, Tom Osborne, says that it began with a bumper crop.
We started about 9 years ago with just a few pumpkins that we had growing out here in the garden, and we had a few left over, and we set them out on the side, and people just snatched them up that day, and we thought, well, this might be something we should look into doing.
Stumpkin's Pumpkins also hosts large groups. Just last week, the Mercer County 4-H group learned about the good old days of pumpkin farming.
Some years I talk about farming, talk about how things was back in the heydays, I guess. And we got some of the old equipment here that I still use today, and I give demonstrations.
Osborne says the focus of the business is to give back to the community, especially children.
We found over our 9-year period of doing this that even though we're kind of in a farming community here in Princeton, that there's not many kids that know a whole lot about farming and about cows and horses and just about the way that things was back then and how people lived and survived. And so we get a big kick out of talking about that.
The leader of the Princeton, Dakota 4-H Club, Sandra Puckett, says that visiting Stumpkin's Pumpkins is a great opportunity for the children.
4-H is not just farm life, but that's what we're trying to show our children in the city, that farm life is good and that they can have fun.
Puckett says that the farm gives her 4-H group the chance to learn about large creatures that you can only learn about on a farm.
Our role this year in 4-H is all creatures great and small. Last month we had beekeeping and we looked at small creatures, and this month we're looking at the larger creatures, namely we're looking at horses and donkeys, and I'm not sure we have any cattle tonight, but those are the main ones we're looking at, and farm life in general.
Osborne says the goal of the business isn't to become rich, but rather to offer creative, clean, and educational fun for the local youth.
We're here to serve the needs of the community. Me and my wife have been very blessed, maybe not financially, but the Lord has been really nice to us through other means, and it's just our way of giving back to the community and letting kids come out and just have some fun and be kids.
Stumpkin's Pumpkins will offer tours through mid-November. For WMLT News, I'm Jonathan Klein in Princeton.
The Campus Beautiful is living up to its name as fall 2010 progresses. The leaves around Concord are reaching majestic hues of orange, yellow, and red, with the winter beginning to cool down. With the weather being in the agreeable 60s and 70s, comfortable is the best word to describe the air. This fall has been unusually warm, and the pleasant temperatures and bright colors traditionally brings visitors to the region. Still, Old Man Winter is fast approaching to chill the campus beautiful. With this week's Concord Minute, we have Jamie Lee Reichert.
Thanks, Marilee. Welcome to this week's Concord Minute. I'm Jamie Lee Reichert. Concord University has adopted a new honor code for the Board of Governors, students, faculty, and staff. Approved the new honor code during the 2009-2010 school year, but is becoming fully functional and enforced this year. The Honors 101 class in 2008 started this honor code as a class project. This became the framework for the Concord University Honor Code. Honesty, integrity, and respect for self and others are code elements for setting a positive tone for interacting with one another in self-governance. Many colleges and universities have honor codes. Some have sanctions that are given when the code is broken. Concord University does not have any specific sanctions for violations associated with the honor code, but there are penalties for many behaviors that would violate the code. Also, check out Concordian, which has a 5-day weather forecast, Sudoku, and crossword puzzles. That's it for the Concord Minute. Back to you, Marilee.
Stay tuned to WMLT. I know you want to. We'll be right back. West Virginia's First Lady, Gail Manchin, handed out over $17 million in small city block grants on behalf of her husband on Tuesday. The grants will go to 31 critical infrastructure projects around the state. These projects will help over 40,000 people, the majority of which are lower-income families. The grants will help with the building and maintenance of water and sewer projects. The projects will be completed with money from other state and federal sources. The U.S. Department of Housing provides a small city block grant funding, and the West Virginia Development Offices manages the funds. An inmate from the Anthony Correctional Center is on the run after escaping from a work crew. 24-year-old Jedediah Stump was working outside the facility when he made a run for it. Stump is a white male who stands approximately 5 feet 6 inches tall with thinning hair and tattoos. He has 3 tattoos on his upper right arm, and he also has a rebel flag tattoo with flames that covers his lower right arm. Police believe that he may be making his way to Webster or Upshur counties. Anyone with any information pertaining to Stump's whereabouts are urged to contact the authorities immediately. Concord University held a cyberbullying symposium last Tuesday, October 19th. Students from Concord talked about incidents where they have witnessed or been involved with cyberbullying. Also, faculty talked about how cyberbullying has increased rapidly from the different generation gaps. We had a guest speaker from Mercer County Social Services and our local campus police officer talk about the risks and consequences that are involved in cyberbullying cases. Topics that were talked about that seem to increase cyberbullying these days are our generation's new devices that we use in our everyday life, such as text messaging, Facebook, Skype, topics, and instant messaging. Cyberbullying is something that seems to be ignored or overlooked because it has been going on without people knowing, and now that it is causing deaths to young adults, it seems it's something that can be overlooked. It's something that can't be overlooked any longer. And with this week's Take It or Leave It, we have Jamie Lee Reichert.
Thanks, Marilee. Welcome to this week's Take It or Leave It. I'm Jamie Lee Reichert. Paranormal Activity 2 recently hit theaters. After what seems to be a series of break-ins, a family sets up cameras around the house to see if they can catch everything on tape. But what they find out is not human at all doing all the damage. I wasn't a big fan of this movie. When the movie ended, the screen just goes black and it has you sitting there wondering, is that it? I wouldn't recommend this movie, but I guess you're going to have to see it yourself to make that decision. Another movie that just hit theaters is Jackass 3D. Johnny Knoxville and company return for the third movie. It's filled with dangerous stunts and public displays that have most likely should not be performed at home. This movie is definitely going to have you laughing hysterically. Out of all the movies out, I would say this movie is your ticket this week. A new movie that is making a big hit is Easy A. Olive Pendergast, played by Emma Stone, finds herself to be the victim of her school's rumor mill. After telling her best friend a little white lie about losing her virginity, word quickly spreads and Olive sees her life paralleling Hester Prynne's in The Scarlet Letter, which she is currently studying in school. Olive decides to use the rumor mill to her advantage. She sees it as an opportunity to advance her social and financial standing. Her image of being invisible rapidly vanishes as more boys find out what she has did. Next thing Olive knows, she is the talk of the school, and she has to find out how she can save her image and happiness before the school's religious fanatic, played by Amanda Bynes, gets her expelled. This movie is filled with hilarious moments that you do not want to miss. I encourage you to go see this movie. That's it for Ticket or Leave It. Back to you, Marilee.
With the recent economic recession, many people are staying closer to home during vacation time. Here's Jonathan Klein with more on alternatives for traveling.
The Princeton Recreation Center is a facility that provides athletic programs for the public. Executive Director of the Princeton Recreation Department, Amanda McCabe, says the programs are available all year.
Yeah, the main thing that we do is provide basketball leagues for youth. We do basketball leagues for kindergarten kids all the way up through high school, boys and girls, just throughout the year. Currently, we're registering for kindergarten through 6th grade girls cheerleading, and then 3rd through 6th grade boys basketball.
The Rec Center also offers plenty of activities for adults, too.
For men's basketball leagues, we have co-ed volleyball league, we have a co-ed softball league, we have several men's basketball tournaments throughout the year.
The Rec Center also offers a day camp for children.
Focus on exercise and keeping them active, and they get to go on some field trips and different things like that.
The center also offers several special events, including their big Halloween fundraiser.
It's a $5 general admission fee, and we provide a hayride from the Rec Center parking lot up to the city park for walking of the trail up there. And it'll be open from dusk, which is probably 7:15, 7:30, until 11 p.m.
The haunted house will be open October 22nd, 23rd, and the 30th. For WMLT News, I'm Jonathan Klein in Princeton.
That's all for WMLT News. I'm Marilee McCullough. Please tune in again next week for more from Concord University. From everyone here at WMLT, have a great day.